How many more times before they won't ever recover the pieces of themselves that this job takes?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Criminal Minds episodes that kept us up at night.
Based on the dresses and makeup the victims were found in, we're looking for an unsub who is living in an elaborate fantasy world. He believes he is special, perhaps acting on behalf of the devil.
For this list, we're looking at those particularly scary or disturbing BAU cases that still haunt us. Since we'll be covering major plot points, a spoiler warning is now in effect. Do you lose sleep over these episodes? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Alchemy. This episode, directed by none other than Matthew Gray Gubler, opens with a literal nightmare.
Hello?
A man follows voices down a creepy hotel hallway. He peels the wallpaper to find a slimy organism that swallows his arm. When he wakes up, his reality isn't much better. Later, we learn that he is one of 2 men found dismembered in South Dakota.
So nobody else was able to make the connection between the 2 victims?
An autopsy shows a potent hallucinogen in his system, meaning he was seeing scary things asleep and awake. The unsub's next victim has his own hellish experience.
Calm down. Calm down.
It's all gonna be fine.
In the same hall, he sees a boy walking backwards and then crawling into the wall.
Hey!
Then an old woman stabs him in the neck. Luckily, the BAU saves him before he ends up like the others. Number 9, The Good Earth. After 4 men go missing, the team travels to La Grande, Oregon.
We think she's keeping her victims in isolation in the countryside, which means she has access to land or a structure that is remote, hidden, and private.
We see Emma Kerrigan, the unsub, a health store worker / farmer, force-feeding these men a brownish substance via a tube. This image alone makes us squirm, but it gets worse. Emma once had a skin disease that healed after she used her deceased husband's ashes in her tomato garden.
She's using her victims as human fertilizer.
This led her to use healthy men as fertilizer, which she sees as the only remedy. She continues to hallucinate terrible lesions on her arms and face. This leads her to kidnap a pregnant woman to consume her placenta, which she sees as another possible cure. All of these acts are stomach-churning, but yanking out one man's feeding tube is painful to watch. Number 8, Reflection of Desire.
What if all we have is all we were meant to be?
No, it's had. Past tense, had, not have. Try it again.
I can't. Not like this.
Rhett Walden, dubbed the Hill Ripper, is the son of old movie star Mae Walden. Since her death, he's been trying to recreate a film she starred in called Reflections of Desire. When his first victim can't get the lines correct, he takes her life, leaving her body in an alley. But he takes a trophy, her lips. While the second victim delivers the lines to his satisfaction, he has to remove parts of her body so she can literally walk in his mother's shoes.
You were right. Your toes were too long.
His disturbing relationship with his mother, before and after her death, is reminiscent of Norman Bates. And considering Rhett also keeps his mother's corpse and pretends she's still alive, the similarities are glaring.
They're calling for us. I told you this day would come. You didn't believe it, but here it is.
Number 7, Proof.
Just walk. Shh, just walk. Come on. This way. Come on.
Back in high school, Cy Bradstone had a crush on a girl named Lila. She rejected him, later telling her friends that he was gross. As an adult, Cy exacts his revenge on surrogates of a teenage Lila, dressing them in clothing from the 1980s.
The sales clerk said the clothes in the crime scene photos were of that time period, and he confirmed that they were purchased from his store.
He uses sulfuric acid to attack their senses like sight, smell, taste, and touch. Cy turns his attentions to his niece Tammy when he sees her wearing Lila's old homecoming dress.
What do you think? I lightened my hair in your honor, Mom.
Oh, my, beautiful.
He's even more enraged with Tammy because he secretly despises his brother Matt for marrying his girl, Lila. It's truly disturbing seeing him taunt Matt, laughing at his daughter's pain. trust us when we say this one is tough to watch.
You might not want to watch this.
Number 6, Mosley Lane.
Did he remember us?
You didn't doubt that, did you? Remembering you was the only way we survived.
Cases involving the youth are always upsetting, but the unsubs in this one are especially creepy.
Amy? 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 Amy?
Roger and Anita Roycewood have been taking them for over 8 years. Seeing anguished parents of the missing and what the victims go through as prisoners is truly heartbreaking.
Your son took my baby?
Mrs. Lynch.
Your son took Amy?
What's even more chilling is that we don't know why the Roycewoods did this. We can speculate, but we're ultimately in the dark. Knowing these abductors were able to get away with this for almost a decade makes our skin crawl. Without a doubt, this is an episode that sticks with us.
He was alive yesterday.
Number 5, Heathridge Manor.
I've been watching you for the last hour. And you are the most ravishing creature that I have ever seen.
The BAU travels to Oregon for a case involving a body found in an abandoned asylum. The woman's elaborate period clothing and makeup are unusual, but it only gets weirder from here.
Look at how she's laid out. It's almost like it's a ceremony and she's the sacrifice.
James Heathridge is on a mission to rid the world of the devil's wives. He puts his victims through tests, where the only outcome is death. When he was a kid, his mother Catherine attacked a fellow actress, believing she was one of these wives. She then cut off her daughter's arm, thinking that would make her less attractive to the devil. Catherine was institutionalized and died in the asylum. Now, she appears in James's hallucinations, encouraging his witch hunt.
She's 16, which means she's at a vulnerable stage. The devil will take notice of her now.
What do I do?
My poor noble James. You'll have to strike first if you want to save those you love.
The gothic tone of the episode and open ending leaves us seriously creeped out.
I've waited so long for you, Laura. It's time to come with me now.
Number 4, Lucky. One of the many cannibals the BAU comes across is Floyd Phelan Farrell in Bridgewater, Florida. His victims, at least what's left of them, are found with satanic markings, leading the team to believe the killings could be ritualistic.
Excuse me, ma'am.
When they finally arrest Floyd, he's in his basement in front of a satanic altar, appearing unfazed by the arrest. With a freezer full of bodies and a live victim, there's no doubt this is the guy.
Cheryl Timmons?
Yes.
You're safe now.
Is Tracy Lambert here? No.
Among his things, they find a human recipe book. The team realizes that Floyd runs a barbecue stand and that he volunteered to feed the search party for Tracy Lambert, his victim.
God is in all of us.
We need to stop the interview.
So is Tracy Lambert.
We'll let you guess what the ingredients were. Number 3, the Uncanny Valley.
Ed, go ahead. You need to send that back up.
As a child, Samantha Malcolm was mistreated by her father. To keep her silent, he subjected her to ECT, giving her a set of dolls to ease his conscience. But when an adult Samantha sees her father give her special dolls to another little girl, she sets out to recreate them. Instead of actual dolls, she kidnaps petite young women and keeps them in a drug-induced paralysis. She dresses them up to resemble her dolls, each with different hair colors and dresses.
If she loses a doll, or in this case, if she loses a woman who represents a doll, she has to replace it.
Her victims can't survive in this state, so she then has to dump the bodies and collect new ones. From the traumatic childhood to the unsub's method of killing, everything about this episode is a nightmare to say the least.
Do you want to see them?
Can I?
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to play with them?
Number 2, To Hell and Back.
This unsub is extremely smart and obviously organized. He's managed to abduct very different victims with very different abilities, all with no witnesses.
In a case inspired by the real-life serial killer Robert Pickton, this 2-part episode takes the team to a rural pig farm in Canada. It's home to brothers Mason and Lucas Turner, who are involved in the murders of dozens of people. Though Lucas is the muscle who carries out the murders, it's Mason who has the brains and the power.
He's our unsub.
for 7 years, Mason has been paralyzed from the neck down.
They were doing experiments.
Experiments? Unsuccessful ones.
In an attempt to cure his paralysis, Mason has his brother kidnap transients and addicts and bring them back to the farm to undergo gruesome experiments. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. The Eyes Have It. An unsub removes the eyes of his victims to use them in his taxidermy.
Any other theories?
There have been cases where after enucleation, mental patients have consumed the eyeballs.
Are you serious?
God Complex. An amateur surgeon performs human experiments by amputating their legs.
You don't understand. I perfected this. This is my last test.
Drop it now!
Then I can fix you.
I never wanted to be fixed.
Risky Business. An unsub tricks high school kids into playing a dangerous game, only so he can revive them. Broken. Saving young boys from a conversion therapy camp. A Shade of Grey. A disturbed kid kills his little brother because he broke a toy.
I told you not to touch it! Sorry, Daddy! You never listen! Please don't hurt me!
After you did that to Kyle, how did you feel?
Like I get in trouble.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Lesson.
Please, please just tell me where Justin is. Please.
This bizarre episode is the stuff of nightmares. After an accident leaves him with brain damage, Adam returns to a childlike state of mind.
The head injury must have been the trigger, and he woke up with the delusion that he was a boy again.
Like a Peter Pan syndrome.
He starts kidnapping people, dressing them up like 2 puppets from his childhood. He uses medieval-like devices to dislocate their joints, making for some hard-to-watch scenes. This allows him to manipulate their movements like a puppeteer. He needs the perfect puppets to reenact the night his father dies, because they need to save him this time.
What robber, Adam?
From him! He did it! We have to stop him!
The marionette performance is simultaneously beautiful and completely horrifying. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.